Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney here with your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Today is Wednesday, February 3rd, and the snow is coming down here in Northeast Ohio. The top story, one of the top stories on our site right now, is about a level 3 snow emergency that was issued in multiple Northwest Ohio counties. So here's what that means. Our 3 News Isabel Lawrence talked with Erie County Sheriff's Office, a member there, and they described it this way. The roadways are closed to all non-emergency travel. That's due to the extremely hazardous conditions, and no one should be on the roadway unless it is absolutely essential to travel. People operating vehicles on the roadway for non-emergency reasons could be arrested, so they are not messing around, okay? The counties that are in that level 3 snow emergency are Erie County, Huron County, Ottawa County, Sandusky County, and Seneca County. Now, all of those, except for Ottawa County, are in that level 3 snow emergency until further notice. Ottawa County plans to reevaluate the road conditions starting at 8 p.m. We will keep you updated with that information. And our forecast, of course, is getting a lot of attention on WKYC.com right now because the snow, as I said, it's coming down. So the storm will continue through the area for Thursday. People should be advised that there will be heavy snowfall bouts, okay? It's going to come sort of in waves, in spurts, and the visibility will be poor, and wind gusts will be between 30 and 35 miles per hour. Right now, there are winter storm warnings stretching across Northeast Ohio, carving out a path of more than 2,000 miles with all of Northeast Ohio under that warning. And we are still expecting a good amount of snow throughout the day. We'll see half a foot to a foot by the evening. That's a good amount of snow coming down pretty quickly today, and that is the sign of that higher snowfall rate that we were expecting. So for the rest of the afternoon into the evening, we do expect some Arctic air, so it's going to be stuck, here for a couple days. We will bounce back into the 20s and eventually the 30s over the later half of the weekend, but overnight lows will be very frigid and they will be icy. So here is your 3-day forecast from our 3 News meteorology team. Tonight it will be blustery, snowy, and icy. Those conditions are expected to continue and the temperatures will be in the teens. Friday, the snow will start to exit, but it will be colder, mid to upper teens. And Saturday, there will be lingering flurries, minimal lake snows, upper teens to the low 20s. Now, with the cold air, the 3 News Ice Desk is back. This is very cool. We've got some photos, we've got some video of this up on WKYC.com. Our friends at Elegant Ice delivered a handmade ice anchor desk. So that's going to be out back on the back deck. We have that beautiful back deck overlooking Lake Erie. That'll be out there. So you'll see people at the ice desk in the busy month of February when we're covering the Olympics, the Super Bowl. You can watch both of those on Channel 3, the NBA All-Star Game, and, of course, this current winter weather storm. And it'll be there until it melts. How's that for you? It'll be there until it melts, right? This is the 3rd time in the past several years that this ice desk has been created by Elegant Ice. We have a very fun video up on WKYC.com of Robin Swoboda wrapping Ice Ice Baby. I highly recommend that you check that out at the ice desk. Now, also, don't forget, we have our live blog up on WKYC.com, so we're doing real-time updates there of what's going on in this wintry weather situation. We've got a current look throughout the day at road conditions along different roadways. We're talking I-71, we're talking 271, Route 14, and reporters all over Northwest and Northeast Ohio. By the way, South Park Mall, here's one of the latest updates, closing today at 4 p.m. due to the weather. So your mall shopping, not going to happen in South Park Mall. Not today. Stick to the online shopping today, folks. All right. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health. Today we have seen 5,737 new reported cases of COVID-19. Now, this is just a guess, but it could be possible that those numbers might be down because people are not out getting those tests, but we do know it takes a couple of days for those PCR tests to come back anyway, but we might see a decrease in those numbers because people need to stay at home. The road conditions are not great. But today, in the last 24 hours, 5,737 new COVID-19 positive cases reported. Right now, there are 3,464 people who are being treated in the hospital for COVID-19. Out of those people, 700 of them are being treated in the ICU. Now, it is almost time for the Olympics to kick off. Remember, they kick off February 4th. Beijing is 13 hours ahead of us, by the way, so it's already February 4th in Beijing. They are coming to us basically from the future. But we did get some bit of an alarming update from one of the Olympic athletes, Belgian skeleton racer Kim Meilemans. She was permitted to enter the Olympic Village early on Thursday, but she was being quarantined because of a positive COVID-19 test, and she posted a tearful video to social media. Had a lot of people worried about her mental health because she was expecting to be taken to the Olympic Village to quarantine, but she was put in an ambulance and she was taken somewhere else, and then she posted that video on social media. Well, people acted quickly. The Belgian authorities acted quickly, and they were able to get her to the Olympic Village. She said that she's feeling much safer, in a better mental state now because of that, because that Instagram post got a lot of attention very quickly. So she is, again, quarantining, but is in the Olympic Village among the other Olympians, and said that she did feel much safer there. So the training for the women's skeleton starts next week. The competition is February 12th. So she's got time for those multiple negative COVID tests to still be able to hopefully compete. And if you're wondering, like I was, what is skeleton racing? This is a winter sliding sport. So a person rides a very small sled, which is known as a skeleton bobsled, head first down a frozen track. So you're face down and you're head first. They call it skeleton racing because the sled kind of has a skeleton-like bony kind of appearance. And you will be able to catch all things Olympics right here on NBC. That's your home for the Olympics, Channel 3. Now, this week I got the chance to talk with Olympic gold medalist Katie Nageotte. I talked with her on my 3 Things to Know podcast, and she talked with me about advice and maybe some perspective on what Olympic athletes might be feeling in Beijing. You know, she recently experienced the Olympics in the summer. They were the delayed 2020 Summer Olympics, but they just happened this past summer in 2021. And she talked about, you know, what it's like in a COVID situation, and shared how when she won her gold medal, then she went to the Olympic Village and she ate alone in a cafeteria at 1 a.m. And then she just kind of went back to her room, and she was hanging out on social media and, you know, taking in all of those congratulations from the people here at home and the people who couldn't be here. She also shared with me some of the ups and downs that come after winning such a huge prize, the top prize in her field. The top prize in every field is an Olympic, you know, in every sport industry is an Olympic gold medal if your sport competes at the Olympics. So she talked with me about that. Also celebrating her feature in Sports Illustrated's 50 Fittest Athletes of 2022. That is a tongue twister. 50 Fittest Athletes of 2022. So check that out. Also, give you information on how to follow Red Gerard. He is our Northeast Ohioan. He's a slope-style snowboarder. He's competing in those Olympic Games, looking to get a gold medal. Now, we've got an update, by the way. Yesterday, former Cleveland Browns head coach Hue Jackson made a lot of noise on social media when he seemed to suggest that the Browns had paid him money, bonuses, to lose games. Well, the Browns have responded to that. They say this is their statement. The recent comments by Hue Jackson and his representatives relating to his tenure as our head coach are completely fabricated. Any accusation that any member of our organization was incentivized to deliberately lose games is categorically false. So, parsing no words there, the Browns are saying this is simply not true. Well, Hue Jackson stopped short of saying explicitly that he was paid to lose games. That statement from the Browns came out before he went on SportsCenter last night. And if you're wondering where this is all coming from, let me give you a quick backdrop. This is set against the fact that Brian Flores is suing the NFL and 3 teams, the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Giants. He's alleging racism in their hiring practices, also alleging that he was offered a $100,000 bonus for each loss to the Miami Dolphins when he was their head coach in 2019. And the point there was to try and get a better draft position in the NFL. Well, that's when Hue Jackson responded and said that the Browns were certainly happy when they weren't winning, and seemed to suggest that he had got a similar payment. Well, then he went on SportsCenter last night and he said this. He said, the way the team was built, there was no chance to win and win at a high level. You're in a situation where what you have to do is the best you can. Then he said this. He said there was a 4-year plan that was crafted. He says he has documentation of that plan. He said any coach would cringe if he saw it because it talked about things that had nothing to do with winning. Aggregate rankings, being the youngest team, having so many draft picks. None of those things are what led to winning. So if you take those words, that's a really far cry from being paid bonuses to lose games. But that's what Hue Jackson seemed to imply. Now, Another big question at the center of this was, would Hue Jackson join that class action lawsuit brought by Brian Flores? And he said that he would consider it, and that he's not afraid to stand behind Brian. So again, no explicit statements from Jackson that he was actually paid to lose games. Seems like a bit of an implication there that he's playing a little bit fast and loose with some of the things that he was incentivized to do in that contract. Of course, without seeing the contract, I can't know that for sure, but that's my opinion based on what we do know, based on what he has said. Now, speaking of paying for things and getting money for things, that Navient student loan settlement has a lot of people asking questions. So I did a Legally Speaking segment sort of explaining how that works this week, and here is the deal. Some people are going to get student loans canceled. So a considerable number of people here in Ohio will get student loans canceled. About 3,500 Ohioans will get their private student loans canceled. But if you had a federal student loan with Navient, that loan is not going away. Those people, and only certain subsets of people that had federal student loans with Navient, will get a $260 payment. So I break it all down on WKYC.com, who could get their loans canceled and who could get that $260 payment. Long story short, in order to get that $260 payment, you would have had to be in forbearance with Navient. You would have had to have that recommended to you when you could have actually been in a different repayment plan. The issue with the forbearance, if you're familiar with the student loan world, is it pauses your payments, but you do accrue interest. That doesn't stop happening. But there were other possible repayment plans for people that would have dropped maybe their payments to $0 if it were perhaps an income-driven repayment plan. And that's a situation where you're not paused and your interest rates could be more favorable and you're not in that forbearance. You also had to be in that forbearance, by the way, for at least 2 years in order to get that $260 payment. So again, that's all broken down on WKYC.com. Give it a read if you had student loans with Navient. And speaking of student loans, if you all have been following along, you know that I am engaging in an experiment around the Powerball lottery. The question we're trying to answer is, does it really pay to play, and can it be an effective strategy to help pay off student loans? You know, so many Americans have student loans. The number is in the trillions, and a lot of people are having a hard time paying those back. You know, President Joe Biden did promise to cancel a chunk of student loans for at least some borrowers. Waiting to see what happens there. But we are doing this thing, I'm doing this thing each week where I'm playing the Powerball and trying to see if it's possible to win. And I have good news to report that I did match 2 numbers yesterday, but the bad news to report is that matching 2 numbers does not win you any money in the Powerball lottery. So I am happy to say that we're at least on the right track, because before this week I had not matched any numbers. Hoping we keep that ball rolling, matching more and more numbers. And by the way, congratulations to the person last Friday who won the Mega Millions prize in Cleveland. There was someone in Cleveland who won a Mega Millions prize for $3 million. Very happy for you. If you're out there, if you're listening, I would love to talk to you. Love to do a little interview with you and talk to the people who sold you the ticket and see if we can't see what your plans are with that money and how much you had to spend in order to win it. That's the big question. All right, this is it for your 3 News Now update today for Wednesday, February 3rd. Everyone stay safe out there. You know what they're saying. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't. Stay home, stay off the roads while they get them cleaned up, because that snow is still coming down. I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.